if you had a mayo commercial, could you do the voice? You're trying to sell some mayo right now with that shark like attitude.
You know, if you're going to join the Akatsuki, then you have to learn how to make a sandwich with mayo.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. Today, we'll be revisiting the world of Naruto Shippuden with 6 members of the English language cast. So without further ado, let's bring them out. Our first guest, he is an actor whose roles include Harvey Birdman, F is for Family, and numerous characters and episodes in The Simpsons. Today, he joins us as the voice of the villainous Hidan. Please welcome Chris Edgerly.
Hey.
Hey! How you doing today, boss?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I am well in my corner of the world here in Orlando, and I hope everything is well in your part of the world.
No complaints whatsoever. You're in my former corner of the world. I'm a former Orlandoan myself.
I know. We had this fascinating yin and yang of our arrival and departure here.
Yeah.
But needless to say, though, did you get that thing I sent you?
Yeah, I got that thing. Thanks for sending it.
The classic years of Adult Swim. No
Oh, yeah.
question. No question about it. Well,
Yeah.
Chris, so fun to have you. So glad to finally meet you. So good to have you here.
Thanks.
Always. Our next guest is an actor whose roles include Pokemon, Dragon Ball, and My Hero Academia. Today he joins us as the voice of the Canine Kiba. Please welcome Kyle Hebert.
Yahoo!
Hey!
What's up?
Not much, my friend. How you been?
I've been great. I've been dodging the Rona, staying alive when the world's burning. But well, I'm having a great time. How about yourself?
I'm good here in my corner of the world. I am amazed. You got the background, you got the lighting, and you are set to control the world after the apocalypse in there right now.
Yeah, I've been studying like what people do with their live streams on Twitch and such. It's like, oh yeah, put the accent lighting and all that. It's like, all right, I'm down with it.
Well, you look good, boss, as always, and it's great to see you. It's been too long.
You too, then. Thanks.
Absolutely. Our next guest is an actress whose roles include Sonic the Hedgehog, Digimon, and Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of the stalwart Ino and young Kudo Hamaru. Please welcome back Colleen O'Shaughnessy.
Oh.
Colleen, how have you been?
Fantastic, thank you. Just, hunkering down with my kids and trying to, stay sane.
Yeah, well, stay safe. It is. It was so good to have you back. We had such fun a few weeks ago with our Sonic panel, and again, it's wonderful to have you back. And I definitely hope to have you on, and maybe we'll do an Avengers Earth's Mightiest reunion. Get you and Wally and the rest of the gang together, and I would love that because I loved that cartoon so much.
I would love that too. I miss that show so much. It was so much fun.
So do I. But we're here to talk about another awesome show. Let's bring out another cast member. He is an actor whose roles include Sailor Moon, Twin Star, Exorcist, and Ultraman. Today he joins us as the voice of Obito. Please welcome Michael Yurchak.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. Michael, how are you holding up?
I'm holding up. It's a beautiful Southern California day out there today, so I don't have much to complain about, I guess. There are some things I guess I could, but I'll keep them to myself.
Oh, no, it's fine. Well, your holidays went well?
Holidays went great. I've got 2 kids who had a great, they made out like bandits, and we're all surviving here together in our small locked in spot of our own.
Well, God willing, we'll all be able to emerge from our lockdown spots. Maybe this year, we'll see. But good to have you here, boss. Good to finally meet you.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks, and hello to everybody.
Oh, yeah. And our next guest, he is an actor and filmmaker whose credits include Digimon and the director of the acclaimed documentary Kelly's Hollywood. Today, he joins us as the voice of the always hard-working Rock. Please welcome Brian Donovan.
Yeah.
Oh, hi guys.
Hey, Brian. Good to see you, boss. How you doing?
Yeah, really, really well. I'm in the Hidden Leaf, so there's no complaints here. It's constant ninja battles, baby.
Well, you got your counterpart right beside you there.
Yes, yes, I do, right here. Just in case you guys weren't sure who I was, I had to make sure. I'll even give you a little 3D action. You don't even have to pay extra for that. Nice to see everyone. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Brian, while I got you here real quick, please tell our audience a little bit about Kelly's Hollywood, because I think it's a remarkable project. And I discovered it this weekend doing everybody's dossiers, and I was really taken by it.
Well, thank you for that. Oh wow, look at that. Even geez, nice plug. Yeah, it's a film, a documentary I made about my little sister and I. And I guess at its simplest, it's a love story between a brother and a sister. And my sister was born in 1969 with Down syndrome. And we were soulmates from a very young age. And I used to bring her out every year for 2 months to stay with me in Hollywood. And it really, the trajectory of the film it just follows her dream of being a Hollywood diva and doing her own show. And so there's a spoiler alert. I apologize because it's hard to talk about in the past tense, but my sister passed away. But before she passed away, her dream was to be a Hollywood diva. And so we did this live show, her and I, sold out, paparazzi, red carpet. She bursts out of a limousine and we knock out this hour and 15-minute standing room only show. And it was really just this wonderful culmination of our lives and dreams. And then the B story trajectory, I suppose, was how I navigated my other relationships with women, including my now wife. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely story, especially during this crazy world we live in. It's so easy to recommend because it's, I think at its simplest, it just reminds us what we're all doing here and who we love and why, and dreams, really. I mean, I think for the audience, I mean, it's 82 minutes of dreams and pursuing your dreams, and that everyone is here for a reason.
Awesome. And I believe this is available on Amazon Prime right now.
It is. It's free on Amazon Prime and Amazon. If you have it, you pay a little if you don't have Prime, but yeah, it's available now. You can watch it. And as I said, dreams come true, because that was her dream. And now she's on your TV at home right now. Thank you for the plug. I appreciate it. It's
no problem. It's what we do here. We all of our guests are always welcome to share their ancillary projects, and this really is a beautiful thing, and that's what we're about. GalaxyCon is about making memories for everybody.
I just put it on my watch list, Brian.
Dynamite. Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, honestly, truly, make popcorn, watch with the people you love, because really, awesome. And bring Kleenex. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's not the sugar version.
No, and speaking of people that I love, our next guest, she's an Emmy Award-winning actress and comedian whose body of work includes Lab Rats, Shameless, and The Loud House. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of Naruto herself. Please welcome my sister from another mister, Maile Flanagan.
Yeah.
You're just saying that because we're both short.
Yeah, well, and that's the proof of the pudding, isn't it?
Whenever anyone says I'm on the Loud House, I kind of go like this, because there are like 500 people on the Loud House. And I just have to say, I'm not one of the main people on the Loud House, because people are always like, which one are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm a bunch of different people you won't know.
Well, it's either that or the Star Wars cooking thing you did the blurbs for, which...
Oh, those promos? Yeah, that was...
Yeah. Absolutely. Maile, how have you been?
I've been good. I, quiet. I filmed a pilot for ABC on camera, and I'm sitting on pins and needles trying to figure out if I have an enormous future for the next year or maybe nothing at all. So, the pilot has been done, tipped off, and now we wait for ABC to say yes or no. So I'm in a limbo state, but still recording Boruto, which is great. And I'm doing another Apple show, which is interesting. Have you guys done Apple shows yet? Like,
I don't think I've done.
No.
It's a weird mix of like super professional, and also like, because I think they're just dipping into that animation pond a little heavier. Yeah. It's just a process that's a little bit different than the stuff we're all used to, I think, at Cartoon Network and stuff. Seems so formal after doing some of these other jobs. I'll put it that way, but it's great. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. I was on a first date a few months ago, and that commercial. I don't know what it was, but you popped up in a commercial on a screen in the sports house. It's like you in the parking lot, and I was like, "Hey, I know her."
Yeah, with Chris Paul. I think they're bringing it back, which is good. That was fun. We filmed it on Super Bowl Sunday, so it was the fastest on-camera shoot I've ever had in my entire life. It was like, oh, I think we got it. Let's go. Like every single take was like that. So, yeah.
Patty, did you have a second date?
Oh,
No
yeah.
comment.
And are they here in the chat room? Can we-
I only need one to do everything I need to do.
Ooh, that's like
Yeah. Well,
either illegal or interesting. I'm not sure which.
welcome to GalaxyCon. No, seriously, everybody, welcome to the show. As always, we here at GalaxyCon, we're so looking forward to the day when the world gets a little bit back to normal, and hopefully we can have you all back on our physical stages and get all of you back in front of your fans in person. In the meantime, we have this electronic forum. We're so glad to have you. And right now, our team's going through the chat room, pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, this franchise has been going on for so long, and everybody just thinks, okay, we can put it away now. Pops up again. It's the gig that keeps gigging. For each of you, what's become a favorite memory from being a part of all this?
Wow.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say that I mean, it's an easy one for me. I was very fortunate to be the recipient of a Make-A-Wish Foundation. I think Maile and I were both, and he wanted to meet Rock Lee and Naruto, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation has been a huge part of my life anyway, and to actually find myself, you know, that was probably 10 years ago. I think it was pretty early on. I think it was the 4th year we were doing it, and I just couldn't believe it. And so, yeah, that's an easy one for me. I mean, to know that someone chose us and our show and what we do, and we're such a small part of it, as we know, as voice actors. And but yeah, it was a magical moment that I'll take to my deathbed. So yeah,
That's great. That's very
Yeah, I think for me, it's finding out how big the show really is. I mean, we've all done other shows and other projects, and you step into something and you sometimes don't know the reach that it has. And for me, it's finding out in a very pleasant way, playing a very unpleasant character, that that this is a vast world with really, I mean, the fan support is wide and deep. And it's really kind of fulfilling to know that you're a part of something that kind of gets that response from people, and people that love the original performances, the Japanese performance that I have to base a lot of my character on is an incredible performance. And to know that I got selected to follow in those footsteps it's very satisfying.
yeah.
Indeed. And as you mentioned before the show, you've broken hearts in your performance, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Who's got another?
I was going to say the longevity. I mean, I've never been on a show that's lasted this long. You know, most of my shows are done in 2 seasons. Whoops. But seriously, I'm like, who knew there were, you know, and for me, for my characters, like, I could have gone sometimes a year without ever doing any Naruto. And then all of a sudden, we're back. And I was like,
Right.
oh, I didn't even know that, because we go in by ourselves and we don't know. And nobody, I don't know how many episodes of Naruto there are in Japan. And I had no idea. And so, you know, then all of a sudden we're back and 700 and something episodes later.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think meeting the fans is huge. And, you know, what's funny is most of the people that are on this panel, with the exception of Chris, but I met them at conventions, right? Like Colleen and Kyle and Michael and Brian. Well, Brian I met a little bit before that, but like that I'll be talking to someone. I'm like, well, what character are you? And they're like, you know, I'm Rock Lee, you know, or whatever, not that, but, you know, and I'm like, oh, wow. Like there are people on the show with pretty big parts that I've never met. You know, that I don't know. And to be in a show that's so big that you don't even know. Like I remember talking to someone, I think it was Barbara, I'm blanking on her name. Begins with a G. Barbara Goodson. And she said, I'm on the show. I'm on your Naruto show. And I was like, oh, like, who do you play? I mean, she has lots and lots of roles.
Yeah.
You know? So I was looking at that, just chatting. And then she's like, you know, I'm on the show. And I'm like, no, I didn't. But, you know, there are a million characters I mean, Colleen, like you've done more even than it says on your bio, right? I mean,
Yeah.
not on your bio, but on your name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, more in the show in Naruto than.
Yeah. You were in there
Yeah.
for a session. They're like, hey, can you pick up this one? And I mean, I'm lucky. Especially in the beginning, I was like, who do I play? But yeah, there's a few more.
Yeah, I was villager number 3 in episode 362. I mean,
You
just
were great
just
as
to make sure. Yeah,
Breakout role, man.
credits are out there.
I read for that, and
Did you read for that?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I am so
Totally didn't
sorry.
even get near
I
it.
knew
I know.
someone else who's out in the lobby, just waiting for the
Yeah.
who they were gonna pick.
I've told this story before, but the way I found out that the show was as popular as it seems to be is that I went to pick my son up at a play date, and I'd been doing the show for, on and off, like Colleen said, every so often I'd get a call for about 5 years, and it would be like, I never saw anybody else. I never did anything. I never even knew where to watch it. So I'd never seen it. I didn't know anything about it. I went to pick my son up at a play date, and the kid's room where he was playing had a shrine to Naruto. His older brother and there was this little, I can't pick that little guy was in it. I was like, that's my guy. I'm that guy. And they couldn't believe it. And since my answer is a combination of that and what Brian was talking about. Since then, having the opportunity to talk to kids of friends of mine and kids, in a more far-reaching way, who are just so it's so important to them that I just had no idea. I think I always imagined if I were on a show that was very popular, I'd know and it would feel like something. And this has all been just a sweet surprise that, like, oh, if I can make you happy by calling and leaving a message on your phone machine, like, unbelievable, fantastic. And then getting these sweet emails and postcards and swag and all this stuff that people send to me, and it's just like it's moving to me because it's a complete surprise. It's all come from these isolated sessions that were lovely. I mean, everybody at Studiopolis is great to work with and fun. That's where we record the show. But I didn't have a sense of the show itself until much, much later. And the show's not even on anymore. We don't even do it anymore. And this has been my biggest Naruto year ever. So
Crazy. Kyle, bring us home.
Well, hey, I remember being on the convention circuit because of, where I started in Texas with Dragon Ball, and I go to these conventions and see a lot of the kids cosplaying and wearing these Naruto headbands, the Hidden Village. And it's like, what's that? What's that show? It's like, oh, it's the next big thing. And like, oh, sweet. And then fast forward 2005, I moved to LA from Dallas and became friends with Steve Bloom, and he walked me into Studiopolis, and Naruto was one of the first shows, one of the first gigs I got in LA. And it's been amazing to see and touch people's lives, like Brian was saying, and people that come to you and tell you their personal stories about how much it helped them through things. And meeting people for the first time that worked on the show. Because again, we record by ourselves, and I'm trying to remember if I've even met Chris or Michael. And it's like, have I? I don't know. All these years, because our community is kind of vast, but we don't necessarily all know each other, even though we've been on multiple projects. And we all do various, ninjas and mayonnaise and monsters and so forth. So
Mayonnaise. I've never done mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Oh, so much miming. Hold on. Let me join you for lunch, Mike. I've never met Colleen. I've never met Chris. It's nuts. Like it's it's a small community, and then it's not.
I've seen Brian out, but I've always avoided him, so that's why it just hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
I always had a little mayo,
too much mayonnaise. That's why.
I only know Chris because.
Did you read for that gig too? Is that what you still saw?
I did. I actually have only ever read for Man C, and so I'm working my way up to Man A and B. So
dare to dream, Chris.
Dare to dream.
Yeah. Well, that's the tier below, because then the numbers come. So it's A, B, C, and then it's 1, 2, 3. So you
Yep.
still got a whole tier that ready to explore.
See?
The lullaby of anime.
Yeah, Maile and I know each other through the same agency. That's how we got to know
Yeah.
each other, through Pat
I
Brady.
used to sit in the waiting room and listen to you do your
And waste everyone else's
Christopher
time. Yeah.
Walken and
Yeah.
Johnny Carson. That's all it was back in the day. We used to go to the agency, and all the guys would be on one side, trying to up each other in their Christopher Walken, their Shatners, and then all the women would slowly leave the room. And
It was like a bad freshman mixer dance. It was just a
Yeah.
bunch of idiots that don't know how to talk to girls, making each
and
other
like
laugh.
all the women would literally, like after about 5 minutes, we'd all just trickle out into the hallway.
Yeah.
I can see this. I see this in my head of the comedy guys. So what you are going to audition? Just
Yeah.
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 Only a little
All
more
right, all
annoying.
right. Yeah. Well, all right, Chris, you got to give us one. Either give us Carson. I don't hear.
Well, you can do a million voices.
Yes, a lot of these people these days don't even know who Carson is. But
Yeah.
I grew up with Rich Little, and so I know all the moves.
Did you have
Yes, sir. Yes.
You are.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
All right, we're losing the kids. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and roll over to our audience questions. What do we have first? And it's going to come from Jake, and he would love to know, what was one of your favorite lines that your character has said? Or any type of exclamation that they have said.
believe it?
Fang over
Yeah.
fang. I say that a lot.
Mind transfer jutsu.
Mm. Anything having to do with Lord Joshine, and some crazy laugh.
I end up saying leave for a
No
king.
love.
Oh,
They
what'd
run
you say?
the risk of carrying hate.
Ooh.
And
Yeah, I got one here queued up. If you believe in your dreams, I will prove to you that you can achieve your dreams just by working hard. Rock Lee, baby.
Yeah.
Jutsu, boss.
Nice.
Naruto. I love when they call him Big Brother. That cracked me up. In Boss, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Nice. Jake, thank you. Fun one to start us off with. What do we have next? And it's going to come from Gladys. What was the hardest moment for you in the whole series?
Celery.
Series. So I was going to say ancillary series, but yeah.
For me, it was, I tell this at conventions all the time, but Naruto, there's an episode where he finally kind of meets and sees his parents, and I had to do it right after my mother passed away. And I had been back there helping out and then had flown back. So I was pretty tender. And then I had to go in and do this really emotional scene. And it was good work, some of the best work I've ever done, but it was really hard. And any of those kind of scenes where I think we throw ourselves into, despair or anything, I think it's truly exhausting. It's not like we phone it in. It's like you kind of sit and live with it for a little while, I think, during your day, unless you go right into another gig, of course,
Yeah, I would tandem that pretty easily with. I mean, the whole actor's job is to be ready when they say action, right? And no matter what's going on with you, and we talked about my little sister already, but after she passed away, I was truly in a fog for about 2 years, and it took everything to, especially the first few months, to like go to a gig and pretend life was okay, and just turn it on and be ready when they say action, or we're rolling or recording, or whatever, beep beep beep. And yeah, it was tough. It was really, really tough. But on the flip side of that, that's the beauty of being an actor, right? You can kind of get out of there a little bit. So I mean, it was also helpful in some ways, but it was hard. There was times when I wasn't in the mood, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Who's got another?
For me, when your character exists to provide nothing but pain and suffering to other characters, it's not as, somehow it didn't emotionally affect me in the same way, because the whole time I'm just thinking, this guy is just awful. I mean, he's really fun to play, but if there was anything approaching difficulty was when they said, here's how they're actually going to, defeat Hidan. And they showed me, like, this is what actually happens. I thought that's pretty intense right there. That, I had to have a response as Hidan. I had to be really, really angry and upset about that, more so than any other time for him in the series. So that would be the only thing that comes close, because that character does not have the arc that a lot of the other characters does. He's a shark. He swims and he eats. So, that was really, it's playing a Bond villain kind of. So I can't say anything has been all that hard for me in the series.
Would you mind doing his mayo? If he had a mayo commercial, could you do the voice and just trying to sell some mayo right now with that shark like attitude?
If you're going to join the Akatsuki, then you have to learn how to make a sandwich with mayo.
Sold.
Thank you.
I challenge you, Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
Kyle, how about you?
Hey, so let's see. During Shippuden, I think, or maybe was it a filler arc on the previous series? There's a moment when Akamaru almost dies, and Kiba becomes very emotional because these two are a team and they're very, very close. And I didn't know that there was going to be that kind of scene going there. So it's like, of course, as an actor, you want all the challenge and all that. Put that against the background of, we're usually like cracking jokes, the going back and forth with the director. In this case, this was Mary Elizabeth McGlynn through a good chunk of the series, and she's one of my favorite directors and very, very funny. We're going back and forth. We're seeing lines. We're quoting movies like Ghostbusters and Mel Brooks things back and forth, because lines will remind us as we're looking on the scripts, like, remember that quote? And then we're doing things, and then fart jokes, and then whip, beep, beep. Oh, I can't believe I lost. You got to put your game face on, right? And then as soon as cut, you're back to, oh, okay. Did I sound convincing enough? So that's an interesting juggling act, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Colleen, got one?
Yeah, Konohamaru had now I'm pretty sure it was Asuma Sensei. If I've said the wrong sensei, I apologize, because it was a long time ago. But there was this, I can still picture it. It was this, I think it was raining and there was this crazy fight scene and he's fighting, and Konohamaru was pretty gravelly as far as the voice stuff goes. And he's like sobbing and also fighting, and it was so intense emotionally, but also really rough on the old vocal cords. So it was kind of like that, and as an actor, you don't like, I do think about it sort of, but that's like so far in the back of your mind, and then the next day you're like, oh, well, maybe I took it too far. But you want to be true to the moment and be true to the the scene and whatever's happening. And so I just remember that he was like, crying and screaming and fighting, and it was just a lot. I just remember being exhausted after that. Yeah. Because on top of all that, you've got all these acting moments. You're also having to fit it within the lip flaps and the beeps and the whole, making sure that it fits. And then, oh, well, we're going to have to rewrite that because it was too long or too short or too whatever. And then you're like, but I was just crying. So, I can picture the animation, which, for after 700 something episodes, I don't remember everything, but that one really stuck out for me.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Michael, bring us home.
I'll stay with the technical side of it too. The Obito has to sort of at one point towards the end seal the 10 tails Jinchuriki inside himself in order to muster the power that he thinks he's going to need to defeat Naruto and everything else, and in the end freeze the universe and ruin everyone. And I came in, I started it. I started a little hot, so my initial response was big enough that then when it was 2 hours later and we were like, okay, so now it really gets going. I don't totally know that I can get any up. I've got no more ups, so there was some, I had to dig deep on that one. It was an emotional, there are some very deep moments that are my favorites. But but I love that stuff. I mean, yes, there were, this show was on for 8 years. So, I mean, throughout the time we've been working on it, I've lost both my parents years apart from one another. I've gone through lots of stuff at home and at work and in life and on the planet and in politics and all the rest of it. And that is, I love that Brian and Maile shared those answers, because that's the inside baseball stuff that I think makes this kind of work really special, is that we get the opportunity to do these super fun, neat jobs, and we're still have real lives outside of this that aren't always just all yuck fun. So yeah, that stuff is there too. But I love it. It's like that. That's what makes it. That's what reminds me how lucky we are.
Indeed. Gladys, thank you. That was a wonderful question.
Yeah.
And what do we have next? And this comes from Michelle, who'd like to know, what's the one line or a character tick that you do to instantly get into the voice of that character? Or if there's one from any character in your extended animation repertoire that you think is interesting, go ahead and share that.
Mine is, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. That's
Yeah.
That's it.
Rock Lee of Hidden Leaf Village. Damn.
Let's go, Akamaru. It's pretty easy to get in the zone, I think, for everyone to just kind of snap, especially if it's been a long time, or especially not. If it's not been a long time, they save, recordings from the previous session, and we're like, how do I get in the zone? We'll play the reference audio clip and then we repeat to get back in there just in case. But fortunately, I think with all our main characters, as opposed to mayo, as opposed to mayonnaise. Yeah, there you go.
I always go for Tobi. I would always go, oh, data, and for Obito, I'd say, I don't even feel pain anymore. That's badass.
Just like, wait, is that me? That's me as the jar of mayonnaise? Okay, I have to say so.
A jar of mayo. Yep.
All right, Michelle, there you have it. Thank you. And what's next? Hey, here's one from Manor. Hopefully I said that right. What arc is your favorite?
One of mine is the pain arc. I love that. I if we're looking at way back, the tuning exams were really fun. And things were a lot more lighthearted in that part of the show. And that was kind of a blast. It's always fun when we do a flashback to that or something. And then we're like, oh my God, like we get to grow with the character, which is cool. Cause like the Simpsons, Chris, as you know, but like Bart Simpson has been the same age for 23 years.
32.
Oh, 32? Jesus. Yeah. But so like most cartoons, you don't grow. You don't get older and go through different things. So I think that's pretty great. So the pain arc and the big war and the first fight with Sasuke are mine.
Right on. That's very good. Who might have another one?
I have not had a chance to watch nearly as many episodes as I should, so I mainly know the ones that Hidan is a part of, but I do think anything that involved Hidan being humbled a bit, I liked. And you're not supposed to judge your characters, but I think he meets his match once or twice, and I always like to see that, because then you start to wonder why this guy's so confident all the time. You realize, oh, that might be a little bit of an act. And so even a character that feels like he's one particular note, there's more going on there. So I liked being a part of something like that.
Very good. Very good. Who's got another?
I would chime in along with Maile and say that, tuning exams were such a fun time. The characters are younger, and also somewhat unrelated is the musical score. The soundtrack has all these earworms, like dun, 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 all these great ringtones for your phone, right? And it's like you just can't get them out of your head. You're sitting there doing the lines, recording, and like bopping along to the music.
Nice, very nice.
I don't really know how to answer the question because, to be honest with you, it's the idea of the arc. I mean, if I was in it, I liked it.
No, that's
My favorite arcs were the ones I was in.
yeah.
yeah. Hey, the ones you got a paycheck for. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's that's your favorite, the one you got paid for.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, if
We're
I
all
had to choose
professional.
between them, it's.
Well, I just love the question. I just love that she framed it in story terms and the arc. But for me, yeah, it was the tuning exams. I mean, there's such a nostalgia there, and I think just the kids are just trying to find themselves, and then of course the Gara fight that I have, and then the recovery and all those life lessons really that I think that are part of that arc for me. And I think really truly the ethos of Rock Lee, right? Of working hard and persevering and persistence and believing in yourself even when you're crushed and broken. And so that was for me, and I think a fan favorite too. So I don't think it's any big discovery there.
Not at all. Colleen, you got one?
Definitely the tuning exams, I think, were really great. I'm sorry. I'm not a bit, I don't know the storylines enough to be like that arc, I'm sorry.
No, it's 700 plus episodes.
Yeah, well, and also the ones that my characters were in.
That's right.
No worries. Manor, though, it's still a great question. Thank you for asking it. And what do we have next? Christy, what characteristics do you share with your character? Chris, you start first.
I'd like to happily pronounce that I am not a homicidal maniac who sacrifices victims painfully to a god of death. So we're kind of built similar. We're both kind of lean. So physically, I kind of have the same body type. And luckily, that's it.
Absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like Kiba, I also have a dog, and like Kiba, we team up and fight monsters together, every day. We're going out there. We got our mask on. We got to be safe, but we're going out there taking on every, supernaturally powered ninja as possible.
Fair.
I think like Rock Lee, I don't know who the mother of Metal Lee is, and so kind of like my own kids, I'm not exactly sure who the mother is, but no, I'm sorry, that was horrible.
Donovan.
I know, I was horrible. Mayo,
where's the mayo?
Yeah, I think I'd like to think that that I work hard. I think, and I tell everybody this. My documentary is about dreams coming true, and I say, like, if there was one thing I could, dispel is you got to work hard. Like, dreams do not come easy. They don't. I mean, there's a few exceptions to that. But really, at the end of the day, you got to work your ass off. And so I tell everyone that. I said, look, dreams are awesome, and goals, you have to have goals. You have to have purpose and passion in life. But it comes with a lot of hard work. And you can't, if you take that out of the equation, it's not going to happen for you, And so I just, I think, like Rock Lee, I mean, that was Rock Lee. I mean, he worked hard, Yeah. He did 2,000 push-ups instead of just 1,000. And I think that's, like, I think there's an awesome, it's like, hey, coach, I was amazing today, wasn't I? And the coach is like, yeah, but are you getting better? Or, coach, I crashed and burned. And coach says, yeah, but that's okay. But are you getting better? And I think that's it, like, what are you doing every day to get better? What are you doing every day to evolve? And I think that's Rock Lee. And I'd like to think it's me. Some days more successful than others.
Fair. Absolutely.
I
fair.
believe that it's you. For me, the Obito, I think that I've got it in me to, like, in a moment of pain and or anger, I've got it in me to think the best solution is to burn it all down. But also, one of my favorite things, and this is really in response to Manor's question as well, like, really my favorite arc is Obito recognizing that he made a mistake, and being able to sort of own it and then give himself over to the good side, basically, just before his death. And I also like to think that I've got it in me to admit when I'm wrong. You know, it's like I run hot. I'm a passionate person. Maybe all actors are, and I feel things pretty deeply. But at the same time, when stuff goes down, I'd like to think that I can come back from it and not sort of actually pull the plug.
I've seen you come back.
I'm talking about.
You're back now, baby. I thought we lost you last week, but you're back.
Colleen, how about you?
I think I'm like Konohamaru in that he's persistent and he's very stubborn, and like I've been told my whole life, my mom called me testaruda. That means hard head in Italian. She would tell me these, like she's, I was very, very stubborn as a kid, and I think I still am, and I think that's kind of how you survive as an actor, is like, no, you get told no a lot, and I still keep auditioning. Weird.
Yeah.
So I think persistence and stubborn Konohamaru, that's me.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say the same, and what Brian said as well. I mean, when I moved to LA, which was in '96, it was a long time ago. I was already a professional actor, but in Minneapolis, where I lived for a few years. But I did 3 things a day for my career every day, no matter what. And I did it for years. And if I didn't do it, I'd scramble to do something. And sometimes it was just, like watching a pre-K show that I wouldn't normally watch because I don't have kids, or, doing a show, doing theater or seeing theater, or at the time, writing a note to somebody, sending a headshot, whatever. And that persistence, I think, is, if I had a nickel for every time I said, that's my ninja way, you too can become Hokage someday. It's like that is something that I go into every job thinking I got the job. I mean, I don't get the job. I get rejected hundreds of times a year, hundreds. But all it takes is a few great roles and you're busy for a while. So I think that Naruto has that stick-to-itiveness, and I'm very loyal to my friends. My friends, I try and get them jobs. I refer them to people. I do, whatever I can. And Naruto is very loyal to his friends.
Are we friends now? Is that
Not you, except for you. The rest of you, yes.
You've never shared a mayo with Maile yet. So, when you crack that jar,
I think you deserve an Emmy for that. I think, Brad, you deserve an Emmy for not conjugating anything for 700 episodes.
Thank you so much. You're the first person that's ever recognized that.
Oh my God.
I love you.
Use any contractions.
Christy.
That was not easy.
Christy, thank you so much. That was a great question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with a cast of the Merry Marvelous Mayonnaise Kids. Gentlemen and ladies, any final words for our audience before we go backstage?
Thank you so much for being here and for having us, and stay safe.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us something else to focus on besides what we can't do. Thank you for giving us a chance to connect with you.
Yeah. We would not be here without you guys. So thank you so much. Your support and fandom for the show through all these years has been remarkable. I mean, truly remarkable. So thank you.
And be kind to one another.
Be kind.
Yes, be kind.
Yes. Yeah.
Or not.
Here, lip sync that. Or not. Oh, wow.
Works out there. Be kind to them.
Esteemed panelists, it's been my absolute pleasure to serve you all today. Once again, thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us today, and thank you all for your great questions. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.